Yes? Okay. Okay. Everybody hear me now? Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome back. You're going to be doing your yoga practice today. This is a yoga class that's going to be designed for athletes like yourselves. So you guys are all playing soccer. So we're going to work a lot today into the hips, the quadriceps, and your hamstrings to open up your body. We're going to get started off lying on your backs. So knees bent, feet to the floor. And then just walk your feet wide towards the outer edges of your mat. Let your knees fall together. And just start to take 3 or 4 really slow and deep breaths. Each time you inhale, just feel the breath expanding all around your body. And each time you exhale, just relax your whole body into the ground a little bit heavier. Just take 2 more breaths like that. Breathing in, slow and deep, exhaling out all the way to empty. Nice, just 1 more. And exhale it all the way out. Good, and then draw your knees into your chest, so like you're giving yourself a hug. Hold on to your shins, take an inhale. And as you exhale, reach your left leg forward and pull your right knee deep in towards your right shoulder. Good. Inhale, bring both knees back to the center. Then exhale, draw your left knee in, press your right foot away from you. And just going back and forth. Inhale, the knees come to the center. Exhale, reach the left heel forward, pressing the left heel down into the ground. Inhale, knees to chest. And exhale, switch again. So push the right heel down now into the floor. Good, 1 more time. Knees in, switch. Good. And then back to center and switch again. Nice, this time draw both knees into your chest and then release your feet down to the floor. So your feet are about as wide as your hips. You can look down at your feet, make sure they're in line with your hips. Then begin to press into your feet and lift your hips up, reaching your tailbone forward towards the front edge of your mat. And then press your chest up and back so you're in a bridge pose. Ground into your feet, trying to spread your toes so you're not gripping with your toes. And then exhale, lower all the way back down to the floor. Try and go 1 vertebrae at a time. And then inhale, lift your legs straight up. So scoop your heels towards the ceiling. Spread the soles of your feet, spread your toes. And exhale, bend the knees, feet back to the floor. Inhale, press yourself back up into a bridge. Chest reaches up and back, shoulders tuck under you. Exhale, lower all the way back down. Inhale, lift the legs up, stretch and straighten through the heels, spread the toes. Exhale, knees bend, feet back to the floor. 1 more time through, just like that. Inhale, scooping up the hips. Feel your hamstrings engage here, so the backs of your thighs get firm. And then exhale, release all the way back down. At the bottom of your exhale, lift your legs, squeeze the shins together, reach the heels up. Then exhale, bend the knees, feet back to the floor. Just pause, take a breath or 2 and feel your legs, feel your hips. Good, and now take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So you're gonna keep your pinky edge of the foot flexed back towards the outer shin. And then reach your hand through to grab the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin. Good. Now let your shoulders come back to the floor. Relax your neck down, and then with your right leg, just kind of press it a little bit more forward from the outer hip, keeping your right ankle flexed. So you shouldn't feel any pain in the knee. You should feel like a nice stretch in the outer hip. Take 1 more breath in. Pull the knee a little bit closer, that left knee pressing the right outer thigh forward. And then release, bring the feet back to the floor and just feel the leftover feelings in that right outer hip. And then take the second side. So left ankle on top of the right thigh, reach through, grab a hold of the right shin or the back of the thigh, whichever is easiest for you. And then press your left outer hip forward, outer shin forward, and keep your toes and ankles nice and flexed. Remember to bring your shoulders and head back down to the ground if you lifted it. Take 2 more deep cycles of breath in and out. Good. And then release, feet back to the floor. And then just roll to your side and slowly start to push yourself on up to a seat. And we're going to take the right shin in front of the left shin so your legs are crossed. And then lift up. Exhale, try to fold at your hip creases. So you're not just rounding your spine to come forward. Try to fold at your hips so you get a little bit deeper stretch into the hip creases. Take your arms forward and then try to pull the floor towards you. You won't actually pull the floor towards you, but try to scoop your chest and your belly up while drawing the hips back and down. Good. 1 more cycle here. And then come back all the way up. Release your legs and then switch. So just take the opposite leg in front. There you go. So as you're doing this, again, make sure your ankles stay nice and flexed here. So peel the pinky edges of the feet back towards the outer shins. That helps to stabilize and protect your knees. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, begin to hinge and fold forward at your hip creases. And then as you're finding different feelings or sensations in your body, try to really focus in on your breathing. Notice the inhale as it comes in. Watch the exhale as it leaves. So anybody can just stretch, right? We can all stretch, but the yoga practice is really trying to help us work on our ability to lengthen the body, but also we're trying to build focus, build a sense of awareness of what's happening without reacting to it. And then slowly start to come back up. Release your legs. And then you're going to come onto all fours. So you're going to come shoulders over hips in this quadruped position. Good. And then from here, take your right toes and reach them straight back, straightening your right leg, pushing and reaching your heel back so you get a little bit into that right calf. Nice. Now begin to lift your right leg up so that it's just in line with your hips. And then reach your left arm forward, so opposite arm and leg. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, bring it out to a little bit of a diagonal. So you make a diagonal line from your fingertips all the way through your back heel. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, round your spine, bring your elbow in towards your knee. And then inhale, re-extend. Exhale, find a little bit of diagonal balance. Inhale back to center. Exhale, elbow to knee and round. Press your left shin down into the floor. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, little diagonal. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, elbow to knee. Then inhale, re-extend. As you exhale, just bring your left hand to the floor and then turn your right toes out. So your right leg stays lifted, but turn the toes out. And then just bring your right knee in towards your right shoulder and then send it back in space. So just do this 2 more times. Right leg draws in towards the right armpit and then extend it back. So you should feel this in your outer hip. It's a little bit of strengthening work. 1 more. And then reach it back. So both hands are down now. And then turn the foot back in, bring the knee to the floor. Good, take a big breath in and out. And then reach the left heel back. Press the heel back like you're trying to stretch your yoga mat further. You start to feel a nice stretch in the calf. and then lift your left leg up. So your left leg doesn't lift higher than your hip, just keep it in line with your hip. Reach your right arm forward, like you're shaking someone's hand. Inhale here. Exhale, find a little bit of diagonal. Inhale back to center. Exhale, elbow to knee and round your spine. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, little diagonal. Inhale back to the midline. Exhale, elbow to knee. Good. 2 more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, find the diagonal. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, elbow to knee. Good. This time as you inhale, extend. Then exhale, bring your right hand to the floor. Keep your left leg lifted, but you're just going to turn the toes out, so rotate the thigh open. As you exhale, hug your left knee in as high as you can towards your left armpit. Inhale, re-extend the leg to straighten. Exhale, hug the knee in. Good, 1 more. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale, left knee to armpit. And then reach it back. Turn the thigh back in, knees to the floor. And then we're going to take a child's pose. So your knees can go about hip distance or maybe wider, and shift your hips back towards your heels. You can even grab the outer edge of your yoga mat to pull your hips further back and down. So you're trying to deepen your hip creases, and just let your head rest. Take a couple of deep breaths. Just slow and controlled breathing if you've lost it. Good. On your next inhale, come back up onto all fours. Now tuck your toes under. So make sure all 10 toes are facing forward. And you're going to sit your heels back, or your hips back, so that your sitting bones are right on top of your heels. So again, all 10 toes are facing forward. So this might be a little bit uncomfortable if you haven't done this before. Your toes might feel like a lot of sensation, but just try to breathe through it. Inhale, reach the arms wide apart, like you're pushing 2 walls away from you. So you open the chest, sit up tall. Exhale, take your right elbow on top of your left elbow. Maybe you interlace the palms. Maybe you grab the shoulders, whatever is easiest for you. Take a couple of deep breaths. And if it's too much sensation in your feet, just come onto the tops of your feet. That's okay, you can release it if it's too much. Good. Inhale, re-extend the arms out. If you can stay, stay. Exhale, left elbow on top of the right this time. So opposite arm on top, press the forearms together, spread the fingers. Relax your shoulder blades back and down. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, release the arms wide, again, like you're pushing 2 walls away from you. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Bring the tops of the feet to the floor so that the toes are now not tucked under anymore. And then bring the ankles together as you sit back on the tops of your feet. So now you should feel a little stretch along the front of your ankles. All you soccer players, this is probably a good one. So you're going to take your arms back, interlace your palms together behind you, and then pull the arms apart to lift and open the chest. So you're not just letting the ribs come up, you're actually pulling the front ribs in, but lift the chest and try to pull the arms apart. 1 more inhale. It should feel like a nice opening in the shoulders, chest. And exhale, release the hands. Come back onto all fours. Now, tuck your toes under and you'll lift your hips up and back so you come into what we call a downward facing dog. Drive your legs to get a little bit straighter. You can bend your knees and feel like you're pushing your yoga mat away with your arms to get longer through the sides of your waist. Good. Take 1 more inhale here. Then exhale, step your right foot forward between the hands, lower your back knee down. And then reach through the crown of your head, through the very top part of your head, reach forward. And then tuck your chin in and look at your left knee. You should start to feel that in the front of the left thigh. Take a couple of breaths here, releasing your head down, really heavy. Just dig your right heel, that front heel, dig it into the mat a little bit and pull it back towards you. So you keep a little bit of tension in the pose. Really nice. So lift your head up. Take your right hand out to the right, outside of your right foot, and then reach your left arm forward, up and overhead as you press the left shin down and turn. So you get a stretch into this left side waist, left hip flexors. Again, press down into your right foot and lift through that left side, reaching through your left ring finger. And then bring the hands back to the floor. Good. If you have blocks around you, you can use them. Otherwise, just shift your hips back and straighten your front leg. So your right leg is a little bit straighter now. Dig the right heel down, and you're gonna have this back hip is gonna be right on top of your knee. So it should be, the hips feel nice and balanced. And again, instead of just kind of rounding forward here, we can round, but instead try to make the leg a little bit straighter and pull the right thigh up and back in towards the hip socket or in that hip crease, and then lengthen forward and fold. Try to relax the eyes, relax the tension in the mouth. And then look at your toes out in front of you. See if you can spread all 5 toes as wide apart as you can. So there's an equal space between all of your toes. Now, make sure the front of your thigh is working just as much as the back of your thigh. So your quadriceps should be engaged as well. Take one more breath here. Nice. Now, you're going to take this right heel that's out in front of you, and you're going to bring it so it's in line with your left knee. So it's in line with that left leg. So it's a little bit across your body. Yeah, keep your hands down for balance. And then peel the pinky edge of the foot back towards the outer shin, and then turn that outer edge of the foot down towards the floor. So you're going to start to feel this along the outer seam of your leg. This is your IT band. This, for all athletes, tends to get really tight, especially if you're doing a lot of running, or if you're playing a lot of soccer, if you're biking. This whole outer panel of the leg, keep pulling the right outer thigh back in towards the hip socket as you pull the pinky edge of the foot back. One more breath. Leg stays straight. And then rotate the foot so that the toes are facing back towards the sky or ceiling again. And then bring the right heel back in line with the right hip. Bend the knee, come back into this low lunge position. And then plant your hands, come back into the downward facing dog. So that nice upside down V shape with your body. Now, from here, bend your left knee and drive your right heel bone down in towards the ground. So you almost get that right heel to the floor. In fact, use your left foot and that part between your big toe and your second toe, use that to grab your Achilles heel and pull it back and down as you lift your hips up and back. Maybe even lift the right toes, that grounded foot toes, up away from the floor. Really nice. Come back to down dog, so both feet are parallel. Inhale in dog pose. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Back knee lowers to the mat. So again, from here, we'll start by top of the back foot down, reaching the crown of the head forward, and then tucking your chin in to look towards the right knee. And again, just notice if your breath has changed. Can you bring it back to being balanced, smooth, and even? Just relaxing the eyes, any pressure around the mouth or jaw, try to unclench it. Press the left heel down and pull it back towards you a little bit. Good. Lift your head up and take your left hand to the outside of your left foot. You can be up onto your fingertips or a fist or a flat palm. Then reach your right arm forward, up and overhead as you turn the chest. So it should feel like a nice stretch through this right side as you keep reaching back and down through the right shin. One more inhale. Then exhale, hands come to the floor. You're gonna use your blocks. If you have blocks, you can always do this at home too. If you have books or something you wanna put your hands up on for support, and then straighten your left leg. So right hip is on top of left hip. dig the left heel into the ground and start to pull your yoga mat towards you, engaging the front and the back of the left thigh. So both the front and the back are equally active. We're not just tugging the back of the left thigh, we're trying to get the whole leg a little bit straighter. So reach the heel away from you as you dig it down into the floor. Good. Keep lengthening your hip creases back. So it's almost like you could tip your pelvis back a little bit to fold deeper at the hips. Take one more breath into the back of the left thigh. Now take your left heel and you're just going to slide it across your body so it's directly in line with your right knee. And then pull your left hip crease back, left pinky edge of the foot back, and then turn the thigh open. So you peel the pinky edge of the foot back towards the outer shin. And then again, feel your spine. Are you just kind of rounded forward here, or could you grow a little bit longer through your torso? So you're feeling open in the chest and shoulders, and your eyes relax, your breath smooths out. Take one more cycle here. Good, and then turn your foot back to facing toes to the ceiling. Left heel back in line with the left hip. As you bend that knee, plant your palms in front of you, and then come back into downward facing dog. This time in your downward facing dog, bend your right knee and press your left heel back and down. Try to get the whole surface of the foot in contact with the mat, and then bring your right big toe and second toe to grab the left heel, pulling it back and down. Maybe you even lift the big toe and the rest of the toes on the left foot. Nice, release back into a down dog shape. Now, as you exhale, step your both feet forward to your hands. So you come into a standing forward bend. Bend your knees a lot here. So really bend the knees a lot. And let your head release all the way towards the floor. So you don't need to look up at me. Just let your head fall really heavy. Feel like you're pushing your feet into the ground to make your legs a little bit straighter. And then feel that both legs are working equally in doing that. Can you create a sense of balance and symmetry between the right and the left leg with how straight they are? Again, you're still trying to draw your low belly in a little bit so your spine can get longer, but keep pressing your feet down into the floor to make your legs feel longer. Now bring your hands onto your shins, reach your chest forward into a halfway lift. Shoulders release down your back. Exhale, fold forward, letting the head and neck release again. Legs stay strong and straight. Again, inhale, lift up halfway. So your sternum, your chest is reaching forward, your pubic bones are reaching back, and exhale, refold. Good, inhale, take the arms, reach all the way up, stretch and get long. Feel like your arms are carrying you taller, taller, taller. And then exhale, release the arms. Good, nice work. So you're gonna step your feet wide to the long edge of your mat. And then keeping your feet facing straight ahead, make sure the outer edges of your feet line up with the outer edges of your mat. So you don't want your toes to face out. You want them almost angled a little bit inward. And then begin to fold forward at your hips. So your hands come right underneath your shoulders. If you can't reach the ground here, you can always tent your fingertips up or bring your hands onto some blocks. Try to get your legs strong and straight. And again, feel like both feet are equally rooting down into the ground. Then begin to bend your right knee and push your left foot away from you. Your left foot won't move because it's rooted down into the ground, but just lengthen the left inner leg. And you're not leaning the torso in one direction or another. You're just deepening your hips back. Slowly press back to the center. As you're doing this, I want you to think like you're moving through water. Go a little bit slower. Left knee bends, left hip draws back. Push your right foot away from you against the mat. So create some resistance. Nice. And then you're going to slowly come back up. You're going to go back and forth a few more times. This is really good controlled movement with the hips and the legs. You're both at the same time engaging and lengthening. So you keep the muscles working and active as you stretch them. That's a really good stretch for athletes to have, because oftentimes our muscles are working. So we don't want to just stretch them all the time when they're passive or when we're kind of resting. We want to engage the muscles. But one more time each side, make sure it feels nice and balanced. Good. And then you're going to turn back towards the front edge of your mat. Plant your hands, step back into a downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forward between the hands, back knee to the floor. And then wiggle your right foot all the way out towards the right a little bit more. So your toes are facing off at an angle, and your knee follows in the same direction as those toes. From here, just a few times, make sure you're on the skin on the front of your left knee. 2 or 3 times, I want you to do this. I want you to imagine there's a little weight on the back foot, the sole of your foot, and try to push up like you're pulling your left heel toward your glute. And just do that 2 more times. So you're going to engage the hamstring by drawing that heel in towards your sitting bone. 1 more. Pull the heel towards your buttocks. Now, this time, keep the left hand down, but reach your right arm back and find the outer edge of the back foot. So if you look at your front knee, make sure it's not past your ankle. So it should be behind that ankle. There should be a little bit of space. Once you have a hold of that back foot, just kick back into your ankle and begin to turn your chest a little bit. So the more, again, we're trying to create a lot more active stretching here. I want you to kick back into that shin and hand, and then try to drag that left knee forward at the same time. So you're kicking back and trying to drag forward. Yeah, make sure that left arm feels stable. Good, 1 more breath. And then release. Hands come to the floor. We'll come back to downward facing dog. And just take a moment in your downward facing dog and notice if you're having any expectations or you're creating some story in your head about how flexible you should be, and see if you can let that go. See if you can just be with the next breath that you feel on the inhale and follow it all the way to the exhale. Step your left foot forward, back knee to the ground, and move the left foot a little bit more to the left. Good. Now you're going to come onto the top or the front of that right knee. Keep both hands grounding into the floor. So again, those of you that had this left knee going past the ankle here, I want it to be just a little bit behind the ankle. You're going to draw your right heel in towards your sitting bone or towards your glute, and then slowly re-straighten the leg. Just do that 2 more times. Slow and controlled. Try to only move by pulling your right heel in, feeling your hamstring contract, and then bringing it back down. 1 more time. And then slowly release. Good. Take your right hand, just keep it down. This time, as you reach back, you're going to find the outer edge or the inner edge of the foot, whichever you can grab. Kick back against the hand with the shin, and then try to drag your right knee forward. So you're trying to pull forward against the resistance of your sticky mat. Maybe turn the chest a little bit, take another in breath. And exhale, release. Hands come to the floor. And step back into downward facing dog. And let your head and neck drop. Relax any tension in the jaw, around the eyes. Good. And then exhale, look forward, step or hop the feet forward. Inhale, reach your chest forward, halfway lift. Exhale, bow down, releasing your head and neck. Again, inhale, reach the arms to the sky, stretch all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands back into heart center. Good. So just take 2 or 3 breaths standing here and try to find the center of your body. So feel the balance between the front of the body, the back feeling of your body, to the right and to the left. Just feel it all come towards the middle. Good. Now, you're going to step your right foot back, pivot your feet out wide, and you're going to turn your right toes out. Left toes are going to follow. So you're in a warrior 2 position, but I want you to bring your hands to your hips. So you'll let this left hip wrap a little bit forward. And as you bend deep into this right knee, I want you to think like the right heel is like a drill going down into the floor, going clockwise. So you scoop your right outer hip in to firm the leg, and then take the arms wide apart. So feel like the legs are stretching you apart. Feel like your torso is lifted up tall. Eyes are soft, arms are reaching. Nice. Take one more breath here. Now, as you inhale, I want you to straighten the front leg and reach the arms up. You're going to look towards the side. And as you exhale, you're going to rebend into that front knee and look down your right fingertips, like you're pressing the floor down with the arms. Just do that 2 more times. Inhale, pull your heels towards one another. And exhale, rebend into that front knee, coming into your second warrior. Good. One more. Inhale. And exhale, bend into warrior 2. Now take your right palm, reach it up and back. So you come into reverse warrior, stretch out the right side. And exhale, come back to 2. Straighten your right leg, turn your toes back to parallel, and then you'll take it the opposite direction. So left foot is forward for warrior 2. Right toes follow, and just settle the hands to the hips for a little bit. Feel that both hips are even. So a lot of times when we do this pose, I'll see people lift this right hip way up high, and they'll kind of be sinking their hips down. So I'd rather you lift the hips so that they're nice and balanced. And then keep bending deep into the front knee, reach back through the outer back heel, take the arms wide apart. As you exhale, feel rooted down into your feet. And as you inhale, take the arms up, pulling the heels towards one another. Exhale, rebend into the front knee, reaching the legs apart, arms pressing down. Just 2 more like that. Inhale, pull the legs towards one another. And exhale, rebend the front knee. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Take the left palm, reach up and back, scooping the arm up. Feel long through the left side. And then exhale. Now bring your hands all the way to the floor. Step back. Come into your downward facing dog. Good. And then drop down to your knees. Lower all the way to the floor. From here, you're going to come into what's called a cobra pose. So bring your hands in line with your chest. Press the tops of your feet into the floor so much that your kneecaps lift. And keep squeezing. Imagine you had a soccer ball between your inner ankles. Try to squeeze that soccer ball together. Inhale, lift the chest forward and up. Relax the shoulders down and look down. Look down towards the floor so the back of your neck is long. Inhale here. Exhale, lower down to the floor. So we're going to do this 2 more times. Stay in this position with your body. Inhale, scooping chest forward and up. Maybe get a little taller. Exhale, releasing down. And 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. This time as you inhale, lift up. And then keeping your gaze down, take your arms back so your palms are facing down towards the floor. Press your hips into the ground and lift your legs up too. So legs and arms are both lifting up. Keep reaching your tailbone towards your heels. Last in breath, so your whole back body should be working now. Exhale, release all the way down. Forehead comes to the hands. Take a few slow, deep breaths. And you can just relax your hips. You can let them sway a little bit side to side. Now, take your hands out in front of you. You're going to have your right hand on top of your left hand. And you're just going to lift up about halfway to where we were before. Then with your left leg, begin to press the hips down and just lift your left leg like an inch or two off the ground. And then reach your right arm forward, like you're shaking someone's hand. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, release it down. Bring your head back to the floor. Take a breath. And just feel your body, feel your connection to your breathing. Notice what's happening. Now, you're going to bring your left hand on top of your right, slightly out in front of you. So it's almost like you create a diamond shape here. Press the hips down, begin to lift your right thigh up, just an inch or two. Left arm reaches forward, breathe for 3. Stretch that long diagonal line longer for 2. And 1, hand down, release the head. Couple of slow, deep breaths. And as you're breathing, just again, come back to noticing how your mind is working. Noticing how your body's working. It's all collaborating as one system in this moment. Bring your hands back in line with your chest and slowly push yourself back to all fours. Now, I'm going to have you come into a seat again. And I'm going to give you a couple options here. So option 1 is to take that same cross-legged position that we did in the beginning. So the right shin is in front of the left shin, and then you can fold. Option 2 is to take the right ankle on top of the left thigh, and then bring your hands to the soles of your feet. So if you're doing this second variation, make sure there's no pain in your knee. With your hands against the soles of your feet, push the hands in and push the feet out into the hands. And then relax the hips and groins down as you begin to fold forward. So really active feet and thighs here as you fold. And we're going to be here a little bit longer today. So we're going to spend a little bit more time here. If you have something at home that you can rest your head on, like a block, that would be great. Try to relax your shoulders away from your ears. And you can't really breathe down into your hips because you can only breathe into your lungs. But imagine if you could try to send the breath down into your hips to create more space. Like if you could imagine breathing all the way back and down and towards the deepest parts of your hips. So you're hinging and folding forward, right shin in front of the left, or right ankle on top of the left thigh. Good, one more cycle of breath. Nice. As you come up, keep the legs as they are. Just take your right arm out to the right. And then take your left arm and reach it up and overhead. Good. So that left seat gets really heavy, and reach your left arm a little bit longer as you stretch out the left side waist. And turn your chest up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then slowly press yourself back up. We're going to release both legs out in front of you. So straighten your legs, flex your toes, spread your feet, and we're just going to fold forward. So any amount, you might start by grabbing your shins and just pulling the shins towards you as you fold deeper. You might grab the ankles. You might have space to grab your feet. But try to get both feet equally active here. So you're spreading both feet evenly and folding deeply. You can even let the head relax, a couple more breaths. Nice. Now start to come on up. And we're going to take the same thing on the second side now. So the left ankle comes on top of the right thigh. Or if you want, if it's too much on the knee or hip, then left ankle or shin in front of the right. Bring your hands to your feet and then push the hands into the feet, push the feet back into the hands. So you're creating a little bit of resistance here. All that active stretching we've been doing, we're trying to create that again here. And then begin to fold forward at the hips. So keeping that work of the legs, keeping your feet active, just begin to fold forward and down. And you can always grab something to rest your head on here if it feels like it's a lot on your neck, just kind of hanging. And also as you're breathing, think about the inhales lengthening the front of your spine. And the exhales help you to fold a little bit deeper. Relax the eyes, relax your jaw. And take a few more slow, deep breaths. And if you did so on the other side too, just use your imagination. See if you could breathe down in towards your hips and your pelvis. Feel like you could send the breath to the area that's being stretched. And if you can't, just try to do it in your mind's eye. Just try to create the feeling like that's happening. One more breath. Good. And then start to come on up. Take your left arm out to the left. Right arm stretches up and overhead as the left elbow bends down towards the floor. So keep your right seat heavy. Right arm extends up and overhead. Relaxing your face, turning the chest open. Couple of deep cycles of breath. Good, and then come back up. Release the legs out in front of you again. So stretch and straighten the knees, flex the toes, and then fold forward. Any amount that feels right for you. Good. Now you're going to come up, turn your toes out, and just grab your inner knees so that the soles of your feet come together. And press the knees apart. So if it feels like you're falling backwards here, I want you to take the feet a little further in front of you and move your seat back a little bit further. So it should feel like you can fold forward more here, even if that means taking the feet further in front of you. And then fold any amount that feels right. The knees get closer to the floor from pushing the heels together. That's how the knees reach wider, is by pushing the heels together to widen the knees. And just feel like the right and the left foot are pushing into each other equally. So I'm sure most of you are right-footed, but feel like the left foot is working just as much as the right foot in pushing into one another. So really try to feel the difference between those two. Couple more slow, deep breaths, just feeling all of the hips, feeling all of your hamstrings, just feeling everything that's showing up in your experience. And then start to come up slowly. Now, you're going to close your legs together. And this next part is going to be a little bit require a little bit of setup. So I want you to roll the outer edge of your yoga mat in and then on both sides so that you have a little bit of padding for your knees. So what this is going to look like is, I'm going to turn this a little bit more so you can see, but I want my knees and ankles and hips all lining up with one another. So this should look like hips and knees are lined up, knees and ankles are lined up. And then I'm just gonna keep the chest lowering slowly towards the floor as the feet press down. So look at your hips, make sure they're not coming forward here. You wanna keep them right over the knees or in line with the knees. And we're going to do a little bit of extra work here today. So I want you to feel like from the center of your hips, you're going to start to press your inner knees against your yoga mat, like you could scoop the floor up with your knees. Start to push the knees in against the ground and try to do that equally on both sides. The right and the left knee both hugging in into the ground for 3, your maximal amount of effort for 2, and then 1. Now you're just going to relax. So let go of that effort. See if you can go a little bit further after that. So just let the hips kind of relax. Good. And take 2 or 3 more slow breaths deep down into your hips. And to come out of this pose, you're going to listen carefully. Just start to shift forward all the way until the hips just relax out of the pose. Oh, all right. Now come back onto your yoga mat. You'll be on your back, your knees hugged in towards your chest. And then bring your feet to the floor. Take your right knee on top of your left knee. Move your hips a little bit to the right, and then let the legs drop to the left. So your right knee is on top of your left knee. Your right shoulder is staying rooted into the ground, and you're just turning the chest in the opposite direction of the knees. If it feels helpful, you can always use that left hand to just help draw that right knee closer to the floor. Really nice. 1 more big, slow, fulfilling breath in and out. Go ahead and release. Just unwind your legs first, and then bring yourself back upright. Just so that the legs are balanced again. We'll take the second side now. Move your hips a little bit to the left. Take your left knee on top of your right knee, and then take your legs over to the right. So the knees drop to the right, left shoulder stays heavily rooted down. And turning the chest open. Just a few more slow and controlled breaths. Just notice your body and how it's feeling in the pose. And then unwind your legs. And then hug your knees into your chest. Just bring your pelvis back to feeling neutral. We're going to take what's called happy babies pose. So you're going to grab either the backs of your knees or grab the outer edges of your feet and try to kick the soles of your feet against the ceiling as the arms pull down against the mat. So your heels are right above your knees, toes are spreading, inner and outer edges of the feet are active. And if it feels good, you might just roll side to side here. Very nicely done. And then release your feet down. Take your legs out long in front of you. And we're going to rest for a few minutes, just letting the whole practice kind of sink in. So you're just lying down in the most comfortable resting position for your body. Just feeling the full weight of gravity here. So notice if any of your muscles are still engaging on your arms or your legs. And even the muscles of the belly, chest, the neck. Can you relax the muscles that are around your forehead? Little muscles that make your eyes move. And so then now that the body is still, you might just feel this kind of gentle current back and forth of your inhales and exhales. See if you can just let your attention stay with the inhale the full way, all the way completely to the exhale. So you're just resting your attention onto each breath as it's unfolding. When you breathe in, know that you're breathing in. And when you breathe out, know that you're breathing out. And if you've noticed at all that you've become distracted or you've been lost in thought, then just bring your attention back to the next breath. Just bring your full focus back to the inhale or the exhale, wherever it is you find it. Good. And then really carefully, just start to deepen your breath before you move any parts of your body. Just start to make your breath a little bit deeper, a little fuller. Then start to move your hands and your feet. Roll out through the ankles, the wrists, and start to stretch the arms overhead, get nice and long in your body. Feel the whole body expand. And when you're ready, just draw your knees in towards your chest, roll over to your side, and slowly press on up to a comfortable seat. Take your time, no rush. All right. Thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoyed your yoga practice. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out or we can chat here afterwards.
Cool. Hey, thank you, Kayvon. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you guys want to say thank you real quick, I know some of them had to take off a few minutes early because they have to go to their next Zoom class. But thank you guys for joining. If you guys can say thank you, I'd appreciate it. And then we'll see you guys tomorrow for training. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. You're welcome. We'll see you. Good job today, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Cool. Thanks, Kayvon.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. Did you want to do this any more times, or what are you thinking? Or
yeah, I'll definitely hit you up about it because I have I'm trying to contact some local yoga people over here.
cool.